As we reported earlier, government forces in the capital city of Chad killed dozens of opposition protesters today who were demanding a faster democratic transition. The country is also battling rebels and Islamist insurgents, and caught in the middle are civilians fleeing conflict inside Chad and throughout the region. And many are suffering from a food crisis. Special correspondent Willem Marx reports.
For more than 3 days, Hawa Galu Musa walked, swam, and floated her way to safety. Her life forever changed after the Islamist group Boko Haram burned her home in western Chad.
During the night while we were sleeping, at around 3 a.m., they set the village on fire. Some people died, some escaped. Some people escaped but left their children behind, like me.
In the chaos of her departure, she lost sight of 3 of her kids and has not seen them since.
I don't know. They might be dead. They might have died while crossing the river or maybe on the spot. I don't know. We looked for them in several places, but we could not find them. They must be dead.
Now living in her brother's village, she whisks together what little she has, water with flour, then finds twigs for a fire to cook her surviving family's evening meal. It's hardly a feast, but at least when it comes to her food supply, Hawa is one of the lucky ones. In a humanitarian convoy with a military escort, we travel several hours northwest towards Chad's border with Nigeria. Thousands of Nigerian refugees are housed here, many in tents, having fled Boko Haram onslaughts on their own homes.
Due to lack of food, whatever you have, you'll be able to sell it and buy food for your children.
Our camp guide is Nasuri Saidu, a former fisherman from a landscape of lakes, now forced to rely on rations from the World Food Programme. He introduces us to Yagana Aliabaka, a mother of 9 from Nigeria, working to establish herself here as a seamstress. It's very much a family business, but it's far from booming. Even the sewing machine is rented. She owns almost nothing. So this is a UNHCR supplied house, and inside I can see some mats, some clothes, some blankets, one small table and a single earthenware pot. Why does she have so few possessions? She came here with nothing, she says, and most objects she's obtained since then, she's sold for food. Boko Haram's violence meant she spent 5 months on the move, pregnant with 1 child and nursing another. Among her last remaining possessions, cooking pots that she now uses far too rarely.
The food given to me is not enough to feed myself and my children. I sell some of the basic food I'm given to buy ingredients for soup. I've said, I need to do something to help myself and my children.
Her children are hungry, she told us, and had yet to eat the day we visit. Deep in debt since the last food distribution, they accompany her as she asks neighbours for support. She has no food today for her kids. Are there many people like that?
A lot of people.
Nasuri says camp residents with their own incomes can barter or buy food from makeshift markets like this. Many residents help one another since aid agencies now share out supplies only every 7 weeks. How do any families survive without food for nearly 2 months?
They can, but there is helps between neighbor to neighbor. That is why she said that she's going to ask for food within the camp.
In large parts of rural Chad, the government has a limited presence. Mostly it's the military that you see on the streets, but it's the agencies belonging to the UN like UNICEF or the World Food Programme that keep a lot of the infrastructure, including some of the airstrips here, operational. The country's military is one of the best armed and financed in the region. After decades of on-off civil conflicts, hundreds of rebels last year were taken prisoner and paraded on state TV. Many rebel groups are now involved in a national dialogue, and that's meant the conflict with Boko Haram has become the military's central mission. Fighting inside Chad's territory, but also in neighbouring Nigeria to beat back the group. Agassiz Baroum directs a Chadian think tank focused on the conflict and says food shortages have helped the Islamist group to recruit.
There's a connection between the insecurity caused by Boko Haram and food insecurity, because most people that we interviewed made us understand that if they joined Boko Haram, it was in search of food.
Alongside reduced rations from aid agencies, Baroum says continued violence exacerbates the problem.
This is where the conflict has accelerated food insecurity, because of the fact that Boko Haram carries out abuses, attacks, prevents the local population from going fishing, for example, from going to plow fields. All activities are on hold, and that's a reason why we are seeing an increase in this food insecurity.
Back at the camp, Nasuri shows us his family home, grateful for the small support he receives here. Are people here in Chad, are they welcoming? Are they helping you?
They are welcoming and they are helping us.
It's 7 years since he first arrived, and his children are now hungry too. As funds fall at the World Food Programme in Chad, known by its French initials PAM, and food supplies shrink, his frustration at his own government grows.
I am angry, but not with Chadian or Ibn PAM or some NGOs. No, only Nigerian governments. They know, and they have something to give us or to help us. They did nothing for us. Sunanki. Zara Nasir.
In this border region, empty stomachs leave little room for laughter among locals and long-time guests alike. For the PBS NewsHour, I'm Willem Marx in Dar es Salaam camp in Western Chad.